What is up, YouTube? It's T Marsh bringing you guys a Madden 19 defensive tip, part 2 of the 4-3 normal defensive scheme. So this scheme is actually really good against gun split close. If you guys are struggling with that, then you want to stay tuned for this whole video. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip the play, and I'll explain why as we get further into the video. It's actually really important to understand when you should and when you shouldn't flip the play, as well as being flexible with your personnel. You know, notice I didn't change anybody. I'm not too concerned about that. But we're going to go straight into HB wheel out of gun split close. This is also in the Patriots. Patriots is going to be next. How we attack gun trips tight end, the infamous and the deadly gun bunch tight end, as well as gun trips, as well as gun bunch in the Patriots with Pat Sale. Wherever the two receivers are, very general rule of thumb, you need to have the quarters. Now we notice that Jordy Nelson and Larry Fitzgerald are on the right side of the field. So in turn, we need to have the quarters on that same side. Now the reason behind this is because of the match concept behind this. The inside quarter is going to match the corner route. The outside quarter is going to match the in route. Now, because we have a safety at the outside quarter, he's going to get toasted by Jordy Nelson. So that's going to be your responsibility to cover the in route coming across the field. Now, also what you can do with this is you could put the vertical hook, you could put X, you double tap RB, R1, and then click X or square, and you can put him into a hard flat if you're worried about them getting immediate check down. So we're going to go ahead and make that adjustment also. Now again, you're noticing you're going to be the only one covering the middle of the field. Now sometimes what a good player will do is they'll put Jordy Nelson on a playmaker hitch, and so you need to be aware of where they're going to playmaker. The quarter flat is going to reroute Larry Fitzgerald. He's just going to bump him, and then he's going to come down to the flats immediately and take away that table route. So you don't have to worry about that table route. And again, just watch the middle of the field. Watch the middle of the field again and again and again. And right there, you can see we're wrapping up for a gain of 5 yards. Now, if you're really super concerned, you can always sub in like Deion Jones over there because he's faster and he'll be able to get it to the outside a lot quicker than what this guy is able to do. So yeah, just be willing to switch in your personnel, switch where they go. Speed on the outside linebackers is key because they're going to need to get to the outside quickly to be able to contain these little checkdowns. Again, just put X into a hard flat, and if you're worried about that quarter flat, then you can always put him into a hard flat as well and take away that tail route immediately. And this is pretty much going to box up HB wheel. So we're watching the inside. You can see right there a gain of 2 yards. They literally, if you guys are worried about a gain of 2 yards, quit Madden. A gain of 2 yards is never going to get your opponent a first down. They will get a fourth down every single time. So this is how I stop HB wheel. This is how I stop split close in general. Another one that's very popular is the wide receiver corner. So now here we're going to make our adjustments. So we're like, okay, we know what side the two wide receivers are going to be on, so we're going to adjust to that. So what we would do here instead, we're going to go ahead and flip the play. We're going to put Ricardo Allen onto this side instead, and then we're going to put Pool over here. Now again, this corner is going to stay the same. This corner is going to stay the same. You're just pretty much flipping where the safety is going to be at. And okay, we know now. Okay, he's going to be running gun split close on that side. So we're going to go into wide receiver corner. We know that he is going to have the two wide receivers on the right side of the field. If you're worried about the table route, you can always put A into a hard flat. Now right here, you could press. Now, if you're going in Madden Ultimate Team, or if you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs in regs, for example, with a 99 speed Tyreek Hill, there's not a single corner in the game that can match his speed for regs teams. Whole different ball game. So right here, since I know Larry Fitzgerald is really slow, I might press, and then you could potentially bring Alfred down and into the box just a little bit more. Now right here, you're going to need to watch the inside because there's no vertical on that side of the field. The wide receiver corner is going to be open for a brief second if you do not manually cover that, just for enough time for the corner to stick with it. Now you can do a couple things also. You can shade to the outside, which will help with that corner out as well. But right here, we're going to watch. And that's pretty much all boxed up. He just got a lucky throw right there. But if you're able to use that, you're going to notice that you are able to take away most of his reads. Again, you could just do a simple press. If you're really worried about it, you could do this, click X, and then shade right, and then shade B to the right as well, which just all helps it contain to the inside. So now you can also, this is a pro tip right here, you can man yourself up to anybody at all, and you'll get a speed, excuse me, you'll be getting a speed boost right off the bat. So you can see right here, ticking away, ticking away. The only thing is, guys, that little check down, and if you're worried about that, here's a really simple adjustment, because that might be a playmaker they're going to use. So here, we're going to take it away right now. We're going to man up X to A, and so there's going to be absolutely no one open. Now, this is a really simple way that I found to shut down gun split close. Now, if you're going against a really good player, like if you guys are playing in regs, for example, as you can see, there's nobody open, completely boxed. If you're going in mutt, for example, and they have multiple crossing routes, multiple post routes, you're gonna need to get into the lab. I cannot replicate that in a practice mode, and it'd be hard to do in a mutt game because I just have to get sheer dumb luck that somebody would start doing that. But if they have multiple crossing routes, to give you guys a tip, that's something that could be really deadly against a cover 9. If they have 2 crossing routes coming from opposite side of the fields and just gonna cross each other, it could be really deadly. Now, with a cover 2 side of the shell, that is the side you really need to worry about. If you have a corner in that deep half, then you don't need to worry about it so much because you're able to keep up with most receivers step for step in regs simply because they have a man coverage. Now, if you have a safety in that position, you best be dang sure you're covering that with him as well. Otherwise, it's going to be open. That's a weakness to cover 9 is dual crossing routes or dual post routes. So again, we'll go ahead, set this up. We're going to go ahead and man up X to A. Now, if you notice they motion out David Johnson, if they motion out David Johnson or whoever that running back is, 9 times out of 10, 2 things are going to happen. Drag or hitch. I have never seen a playmaker or a player do anything else, maybe a slant or an in route, or sometimes rarely a streak, but 9 times out of 10, they're motioning him out to use him as a playmaker hitch. So you're safe to go ahead and man him up. Now, if you have a linebacker that has better speed, like honestly, Deion Jones would just be perfect for defending a playmaker, and you could actually use their Campbell instead, which he has good speed and good height. But for this instance, we're just going to man up Campbell. He's able to keep up with David Johnson if, per se, they were to playmaker him. So this is just a general way of how I shut down gun split close, looking, boxed. Nobody's open, shut down, and the computer has to throw it away every single time. Very simple. We're just going to go ahead and shade it underneath. Now, if you're worried about them going to audibling into HB corner, or sorry, HB wheel, we're going to go ahead, make our adjustments. Boom, boom, done, set, let's go, boxed, shut down. Now, this is the adjustment that I would make for halfback wheel. I would leave it as is if they're going to go into wide receiver corner, maybe put A into a hard flat instead of a quarter flat. Quarter flats used to work really well where they bump and cut right down to the hard, right down into the flats how they should. But after the patch, they kind of screwed it all up. So this takes care of wide receiver corner, HB wheel, 2 big plays that everybody uses. Another one, which I'm going to show you guys right now. If we were to use that, then it's going to be completely bagged. Another one that they're going to go with is I think it's called PAF Slide. I don't really run split close too much. But again, always with the cover 9, if I can actually get to, always with the cover 9, we want the quarters to the side of the wide receivers where there are 2 wide receivers. For this example, Larry Fitzgerald and Jordy Nelson. We always need to have those quarters on the same side as they are. Now, ideally, you would have your safeties completely out of the game. If you guys happen to have 4 cornerbacks, sub them all in at secondary position. Don't have a single safety in the game because safeties do not have the man coverage necessary unless you have Ed Reed, Kim Doubt, for example, those guys that play mutt. If you play regs, make sure you have corners in every single position and have your elite, your 2 best corners in the quarters position. Don't have them in the deep half. You can have sort of your quote-unquote, air quote, trashy cornerback in the deep half because you're relying more so on a zone coverage right there, like a Richard Sherman, for example. Fantastic. Now right here, I'm not going to do that because we don't have the best corners for the Falcons, but you would actually get rid of Ricardo Allen altogether and put a cornerback in there, or again, a safety that has good man coverage. So we're going to go ahead and select cover 9, and we're going to go on to PAF. I think it's called PAF Slide, right? Yeah, PAF Slide. So right here, this is actually pretty simple. Again, we're always having the quarters to the side of let me think about this. One sec, guys. The side with the 2 receivers, always having it on that side. Now in a PAF slide, you can go ahead and take the flats away on the right side, leave the cloud flat on the left because of the out route. Butler is going to be running an out route, like a 10-yard out route, and that cloud flat will cover it. So if you're worried about them, if they have elite route runner, for example, Mutt, if they put David Johnson on a table route, you can always take that away by putting X into a hard flat like this. Now it looks like it's a cloud flat, hard flat. There's 2 flats on the side, it just kind of blends in. And always, 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 as a user, let me emphasize this 10 million times. Always watch the middle of the field with the user. Never abandon the middle of the field, otherwise you could maybe give up a touchdown. Because they could audible into HB wheel, and Butler could be wide open if you do not take that away. So always be in the middle of the field looking for what's going to be open if you were not there. So we're going to let the computer snap the ball. Go ahead and box this up real fast. Boxed, shut down, nobody's open. That is called clamps against gun split close. I'm trying to think of some other plays they might do. Those are really the top plays you guys are going to run into if you're going to get somebody with gun split close. Again, always having the quarters to the same side of where the 2 wide receivers are. Never the lone side of the wide receiver. Always where the 2 wide receivers are. Let's see. Trying to think of some other plays that they might do. Z spot's pretty simple. We'll go over that. We might go over that. Close trail is all dependent upon the user. We'll actually go over that right now. Now with HB close trail, you've got, I believe it's Logan's going to be on an angle route, either Larry Fitzgerald on an in route or drag, or Nelson on an in route or drag. One of the 2 is going to be it. So this relies heavily upon a good user. Now perhaps you could get the idea of press right here, and maybe instead you'd have Desmond Trufant in this position instead of over here. Maybe switch those 2. But again, we're going to be relying a lot on our user. Now, if they're to do this play, you don't need to worry about the flats as much. You need to worry about the flood of the middle of the field. Take away, take away, take away, take away. And that's only a gain of 3 yards. I'm not worried about that at all. Eventually, they're going to force something. So that's pretty simple with that. If they're going to flood the middle of the field, again, take it all the way with the user. A lot of this will depend on a half-decent user, but as well as making the correct adjustments. Now, I'd like to point out real fast, I'm going to pause the game so I don't get snapped. I'd like to point out, if you guys are D-line users, this is going to be a struggle to stop gun split close. As you notice, in HB wheel, we had to take away that post route just for a brief second, and then come back down to the in route in order to completely shut it down. Now, this is a pretty brief way to shut down HB wheel. Again, a little... I can't think of the word right now, but a little bit of warning. If you're going against Mutt players, there are so many different routes. You can have a crosser, you can have a up and go, I can't remember what it's called. A post route, you could have a corner route, all because of these special red chems, which I think is completely stupid if you ask me. But with regs, you guys don't have to deal with that. You guys are blessed to not have to deal with all these things, and generally all they're going to be doing is putting somebody on a drag or somebody on a curl or something like that to that effect. Now, if you're worried about a drag, the 3-8 hook will play it very well by itself. Just let him go ahead and play it and hop onto the vertical hook, unless you want to cover it by yourself. Now, that pretty much is how I box up gun split close. Now, this gun split close is probably going against like your average player, or somebody that kind of knows what they're doing but isn't like elite tier per se. This is a fantastic way. You can see we boxed up HB wheel, we boxed up wide receiver corner, we boxed up PAF slide. Everything, literally everything was shut down. So until next time, guys, we will be going over the Patriots playbook. The third part is going to be going over trips tight end. The next part is going to be going over gun bunch, and the video after that will be the run game, how to shut down the run game, and the final one is going to be sending pressure. So until next time, guys, be sure you get in practice mode, practice this, or go into a game, take a few L's. Like, nobody cares how many L's you take. It does not matter. Learn this defense, start to use it, because as you can see, we box up, split close with very simple to almost no adjustments whatsoever, boys. So road 1000, let's get it. Until next time, guys, get in the lab. Let's go. See ya.